Hey, what's up folks? It's Will back once again for another fight card prediction. Feels like it's been a long time, but we are coming back to a blockbuster of a card, probably the best card we have in 2017. I'll be very surprised if something tops this one. It just aesthetically looking from the prelims onwards, this is a great card. Was wanting to get this out a couple of days ago. I had a few people asking me and I thought I would get it out then, but I have this little girl coming in the next 6 weeks and my mind and my priorities are elsewhere. So if I don't get these videos out as quick as I usually do, my apologies, but I do have more important things to kind of deal with at the minute than these guys. But I will try and get these videos out, especially when my little one comes. I'm still going to try and find time to get this video out for everybody because I know I've got a lot of supporters out there who have supported me, and I'm going to just try and get through it and get these videos out and give you my picks like I always do. But a busy time is coming up. I'm working non-stop and I'm just trying to get ready for this baby. But I'm really looking forward to this card. As sooner this card gets here, the better, because these 3-week breaks are not great. I must admit, we've got this card and then we've got another 2-week break after that for Sweden. But it's given me a little bit more time to delve into some of the matchups here. And I say from the prelims onwards, the televised prelims, this card is unbelievable. Unbelievable fights, unbelievable matchmaking. You can tell by the odds that are out there already that they're good fights by the odds and what they're looking at the minute. I have a couple of bets made already. I have a couple of bets in mind. So we'll get into it in a little second. As always, I just want to give a shout out to everybody who I think you should all go and support. You should all go subscribe to their stuff, their YouTube channel, their podcasts. You all know the names. Dan Levy's one of my good friends, Rockstar Z, MMA Kilton, UFC Bro Picks, all the guys I listen to their stuff, watch their stuff, speak with those guys a little. Those are guys that'll give you great content in fight week, and just guys you should go and support if you can. The daily fantasy MMA guys on here, subscribe to their channel if you're into DraftKings. I'm drifting more away from betting towards DraftKings. Never thought I would see the day because I do love a bet, but I just love DraftKings, and people like Brett and Kyle and Joe and Mark and Mike, Chris, all those guys over there on Roto Grinders and on the daily MMA Fantasy channel, Leroy, Divine Prodigy, all those guys, Sean. Just a shout out to those guys because I do watch their stuff. Eric's another guy that I watch his stuff as well. So keep up what you're doing. Hopefully I can send some more supporters your way because you truly deserve it. But we are going to get into this card. I say the Fight Pass portion of the card is not great, but it's just really the appetizer for the prelims and the main card. So starting off in the featherweight division, we have Gabriel Benitez against Enrique Barzola. Now this is the fight I'm really looking forward to, and it might be a fight I might have a look at a bet or adding someone to a parlay. I just think this is going to be a really good, close fought fight, and I think that both guys are from the Latino Americas, let's say. They fight hard, but I am a really big admirer of Gabriel Benitez. I think he's a guy, every fight we see a little bit more from him, and guy's got some legit kind of power. Like he's just got, I think he's got that natural power that runs through his shots that you've just got to be careful of. I mean, earlier on today I watched these fights with Sam Sicilia, and the guy's got like a serious thumping leg kick, and if he hit Sicilia in the first round about 5 to 8 times in that round, and you could just see that at the end of the round the markings he had on the inside of his leg were it was something serious. And then he followed it up. Sicilia got too aggressive, tried to enter the clinch with Benitez, and Benitez caught a beautiful high angle guillotine. And once he put him against the cage and put all his weight on top of Sicilia, that was really it. Really good dominant performance over Sicilia. Now I know Sicilia is not the most talented pro in the world, but the guy has power. The guy can be dangerous at times. And it was the natural step up for Benitez to make there. And I think there's another matchup here he can really come through and win this fight here. Barzola is coming off a win over Chris Avila. Avila's really not turned out to be anything near what was kind of hyped up about him. Got robbed against Kyle Bochniak. had a really good performance in that one. In that fight with Bochnak, he used leg kicks, angles, was just the quicker fighter. In the second fight with Aguilar, he kind of did the same thing, and he mixed in some takedowns as well. I just like Benitez in this one. I think he's very dangerous. He's one of those guys that I don't think many people would like to face him, for the simple fact he's got big power, and he's a dangerous fighter, and it's someone that you have to be very careful around. I'm going to take Gabriel Benitez. I think he's got the potential of a finish. I think it's going to be a pretty dominant performance from him, though, so I'm going to go Gabriel Benitez via a 30-27 decision. Heavyweight division of Chase Sherman against Dimitri Pobrezets. Geez, that's hard enough to say. Pobrezets, there we go. Pobrezets, a newcomer at the UFC, is a guy that there's not much tape on him on YouTube. If you go out there, you will find some against Eddie Bengtson from maybe 3 years ago. I think there's one from Cage Warriors when he lost that fight. That might have been 5 years ago maybe now. So there is footage out there, and it's just very, very limited, and his opponents aren't really the greatest. I mean, is it the Gigo Ayazebe fight? I think that Ayazebe was just not a good fighter at all, and he was just literally on his back, just raining shots on him, and the guy was just looking for a chance to quit. Not your biggest heavyweight, 6'3", 230. No, it's just your average heavyweight, and the thing is, the average heavyweights are coming in and they're hitting the top 15 of the UFC rankings, which are the biggest lot of BS ever. But he's got a fight here which I think he can win. I think Chase Sherman, if you can catch him clean with a big shot, I think you can put him to sleep like Walt Harris did. I think that I thought he was durable in the fight with Ledet. He took a lot of shots and he got his head jabbed off him pretty much, but Harris with that little bit more power and precision put him out there. I think the newcomer could do the same here, so I'm going to go Dimitri. I'm going to go a second round TKO victory there for him. Featherweight division, Jared Gordon against Michel Quinones. If you've got an opportunity, you can go and watch an interview that Michel Quinones had with James Lynch, a friend of mine, a guy who works his ass off and is getting some just recognition sent his way, which he should, because he puts in a lot of work. There's a great interview in there, so go watch that. There's another one with Cortney Casey coming up as well. But Jared Gordon's the guy that Dana White found on Dana White's show. I forgot the name of it. Looking for a Star, whatever the hell it is. Looking for a fight or whatever. And pretty decent guy. 12-1 record coming out of the New York, New Jersey area. All around just a decent pro. Very, very solid. But I do think he has a very tough matchup here against Quinones. He's 8-1. Both guys, when you look at the records of the fighters that they've fought, they're both your run-of-the-mill regional professionals with mediocre records. Both guys have that. Just that Jared has a little bit more fights. Quinones 8-1 to his 12-1. But Quinones, if you go on YouTube, he's got a beautiful head kick knockout of Billy Quarantino, who was on The Ultimate Fighter a few years ago. He fought in tight, and I forgot his opponent, but he won that fight there. And that was his last fight there. So he's getting an opportunity here. I think this is a tough fight for Jared Gordon. I'm always trying to look to fade those guys coming off Dana's show, because some of them aren't very good. Majority of them aren't very good, let's be honest. But you might get a couple of good ones in there, like Mickey Gall could turn out to be a really good fighter in years to come. Maybe Randy Brown has shown aspects of that. Whether he goes forward, that's another thing. But then we've seen people like Devin Powell, who's not looked great, and Drakkar Klose just kind of beat his ass pretty much. I'm going to go Jared Gordon here. I was initially going to go with Quinones. I thought he's more dangerous. He's a more potent finisher of both guys. But I think that Gordon has got a more well-rounded mixed game where he can probably keep it pretty close in the feet, but I think he's got takedowns there where he could possibly stop Quinones and win rounds, and the time elapses a little bit, and he kind of wins the rounds through that. So I'm going to go a decision for Jared Gordon. I'm not overly confident, I must admit, but I think Quinones has got a great chance. I think if the odds are fairly decent in this, I might take Quinones and DraftKings, but it is two fairly unknown guys on not much tape that is out there So think of that what you will. But I like Gordon. I think he's just an overall tougher fight. I'm going to take him here. Jessica Aguilar against Cortney Casey. Another one where when I heard the matchup, it's fairly a new matchup that was put together. I leaned Aguilar, and then I watched some tape, and I think that Cortney Casey can win this fight. And the reasons I think that is Aguilar's coming off a near 2-year break. She's at that 35, I think, age now, 35, 36, could be maybe a little bit younger than that, not much. Where is she? Is her head and her mind and her spirit still in the sport here? What has she got to achieve? What does she want to achieve? She is in a division where I think she can be a top 10 fighter. I don't think she can be a top 5 fighter per se. Maybe in that top 5 to 7, possibly. I don't see it really. But Cortney Casey is a girl that I think has got a lot of potential. Don't let her record, I think she's got a 6-4 record, don't let that put you off. She's a big girl for the division. She's like 5'7", 5'8". She's long, and she's dangerous. If she can get you in positions like she did against Randa Marcos, she can beat your ass. And I've seen that. She came out strong against Joanne Calderwood. I saw that there, and she put a hurting on Jojo very, very early on in that round there. Came in short notice and did that as well. Had the fight with Seo Hee Ham, which she could have easily got the decision victory there as well. Coming off a loss to Claudia Gadelha. Both girls' last loss here was Claudia Gadelha. I like the fighter that's a little bit bigger. I think she can finish. She's more ways to finish the fight there. I'm a little bit worried that she's not going to be able to stop the takedowns of Jessica Aguilar. This is where I'm hoping that Casey does that, is stop the takedowns and just put a beating on Aguilar. And on the feet, I think she can use the range. It's a hard fight to pick. It really is. I know there's going to be a lot of people picking Aguilar. I don't like the layoff. I think Casey has advantages body-wise. I think she's longer. I think she could be just if she can use that length and use the speed. I think she's got a little bit more speed with her striking, with her punches. She can win this fight, and I think if she gets like a top position or just in an advantageous position, she can rain shots down on Aguilar, potentially get a finish. I don't see it. I'm going to go Cortney Casey, very, very close, 29-28. I see her getting taken down on occasions, but I see her doing enough to win the fight. Not one of my most confident picks, I'll be honest with you. It's probably one of my least confident, but I'm going to go Cortney Casey for the win there. Moving on to prelims, Marco Polo Reyes against James Vick. This a fight I was really kind of shocked about when I heard the kind of matchmaking for this one. I thought Vick would have definitely got a move up in competition after beating Abel Trujillo and doing it very, very convincingly in Houston earlier this year. Great striking. He's got that underrated Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's so long that he can just wrap you up in something, and before you know it, you're tapping out. But he's facing Marco Polo Reyes here. He's coming off wins over Dong Young Kim and Brandon O'Reilly, who are two of the worst in that division. So this is where I was a little bit surprised at this matchmaking here. I was expecting more from James Vick, his opponent, and I think I was out there on Twitter saying that I think he should face Evan Dunham, guys that are just inside that top 15 rank. I think he deserves to be fighting those kind of guys. I know he had the opportunity against Neil Dariush and got knocked out, but I do believe he deserved that opportunity to fight someone in the top 15. So I'm all in James Vick here. I'll be using him hopefully as a leg in a parlay, which I've got with another fighter coming up in the very next fight here, which I'm looking to hopefully get plus money on. We'll need to wait and see when the odds drop. But my pick's going to be James Vick. I think he's too long. I think he can, as long as he keeps his chin tight and his head not up in the air like he does sometimes, and Polo Reyes is going to come in bowling shots and trying to hit him he's got a long kind of reach disadvantage here. He's got to get in really close to Vick, and Vick's been using teep kicks and stuff like that recently to keep his opponents at bay. He's been over in Thailand as well, which is only going to make his striking arsenal a lot better. I'm just very confident in James Vick in this one here. I think it's a big step up in opponent for Marco Polo Reyes, and I expect James Vick in his home state to put an exclamation mark down and maybe get that top 15 fight I think he deserves. So I'm going to go James Vick. Reyes is very tough. I'll go an early third round submission for James Vick in that one. Middleweight division with Krzysztof Jotko against Dave Branch here. David Branch making his return to the UFC after a long time away. He was there many, many years ago. I think his last fight was against Husamor Palhares. And then he went to World Series of Fights where the guy just won fights. Fair play to the guy. He won fights, won titles in different weight classes as well. And he's finally getting his opportunity to come here to the big leagues here and see if those years away have improved him. Is he a guy that could potentially live in that top 15 of that division? I don't like this matchup as a comeback fight to the UFC because I'll put my hand up, and it's weird because I know the European guys, I've been completely off on Krzysztof Jotko, and maybe I need to start getting on him now while he's making that run up the division. I know there's people out there, good buddies of mine that have been on this guy for a long time. I've just not seen it, and he's been underdog as many times as I can remember, and he's cashed a hell of a lot, and the people that are betting him have cashed a lot as well. So, but he showed that he can mix it with the top 10 of that division at least. Thales Leites is a fighter I say is a top 10 fighter, just on the edges of moving into that top 10. But I think Dave Branch is this is a bad fight to come back to. Jotko is he's very well rounded. He's a decent striker. He's got great timing, great grappling as well. He showed that by grappling with Thales Leites and just controlling him, and he did it in Brazil as well, which is another thing which was very, very impressive to me. When you go back and watch the footage of that fight, I think that was the night that they had the two cards. They had the one in Belfast, then they had the one in Brazil, and I was watching the fight but not watching it closely. When you go back and watch it, one hell of performance from Krzysztof Jotko, and I just think that with him being at American Top Team full time, being out there, he's been out there for the last 4 or 5 months, I think it is. You are only going to see improvements from this guy going forward, and the guy's he's in that stage now where people are going to have to really start taking stock of this guy because he's winning fights, he's beating decent guys, and I like this matchup for him. I like him to use his kind of all-around well-rounded game to win the fight here, keep it fairly competitive on the feet, being the quicker fighter to the strike, and then just trying to mix in takedowns against the cage and taking him down. Dave Branch, to his credit, I watched his fight literally in the last couple of hours against Lewis Taylor. Very well timed with his takedown attempts. Once he got down, he worked hard to try and find a submission and finally got it. But you don't go from beating guys like Lewis Taylor, Vinny Magalhaes, Clifford Starks, in my opinion, jumping in there to a guy that is probably a top 8 guy, in my opinion, in Krzysztof Jotko. I think Jotko's just going to be too good overall, and I think he's going to win a pretty clear decision there. So I'm going to go Jotko via decision. Great fight. Chaz Skelley against Jason Knight. I've been going back and forward in this fight so much. Both guys, you can see, especially in Chaz Skelley, making improvements since he went down to Florida. He was with the Black Zillions, now he's with Henry Hooft at the Combat Club. Definitely striking has came forward. He looks a lot more confident in his feet, throwing more combinations, and the guy's got really good grappling skills as well. He's got one of those kind of death grips. If he gets you in a guillotine or a rear naked choke, it's very, very, very unrealistic that you're going to find a way out of that unless you're really, really advanced in the ground. Once he locks it in, you're pretty much done. Coming off that win over Krzysztof Grutzmacher earlier on this year in Texas and Houston, really impressive performance there. I don't think he should have been facing Chris Grutzmacher. He had no right being in there with Chaz Skelley, in my opinion, especially after Skelley coming off that win over Maximo Blanco where he blew him out of the water in about 20 seconds. Jason Knight, on the other hand, this guy's kind of crazy. He's kind of one of those redneck guys. He's an all-action fighter. That's when you see Jason Knight, the first thing that comes to my mind is wild, all-action fighter. Wherever this fight takes place, the guy is just all action, and you can't take your eyes off it for a second, because he could pull something out from anywhere, pull out some crazy shit. And his performance against Alex Caceres, I thought was spectacular. And to get the finish over a guy like Alex Caceres, like people like Yair Rodriquez couldn't get the guy out there. Yair had problems with Caceres in some aspects of that fight. So to get him out of there in a round and a half says volumes about the potential this kid has. But he's against a guy here with a pretty similar skill set, and who is very, very tough, very gritty, very game, looking to scrap, and in his home state as well. Very close fight. Initially, I came out with Chaz Skelley, watched the tape, and was very much a fan of what I've seen from Jason Knight. I was never really on him until the Dan Hooker fight, and then from there, he's just, the fight after with Caceres really opened my mind on where the kid could go. I'm going to go Jason Knight via decision, but not overly confident, I must admit. Yeah, I'm going to go Jason Knight via very close 29-28 decision. Be interesting, because I think Skelley can go hard for 3 rounds. I think Knight, being that all-action fighter, might gas out in the 3rd round and make it close. But I'm going to go Jason Knight via 29-28 decision. And your main event for the Fight Pass prelims, the FX prelims, I should say. Great fight. Lightweight division. We have Eddie Alvarez against Dustin the Diamond Poirier. Ooh, what a fight! I am looking at a bet for this fight on the person who is the underdog at the minute over here in the UK. I'm just hoping I can get a little bit of a better number on him, but I very much doubt I'm going to get that. We'll start off with Eddie Alvarez. This is a big fight coming back after that life. It was pretty much the fight with Conor McGregor was a life changer. There's no doubt about it. The guy, I think he was shook from the minute he came into that arena at the MSG. As soon as he got in the cage, you could just see that he had literally nothing for Conor McGregor. And I don't know whether the bright lights got to him, which is a little bit weird, because he's been in some big fights against some champions. Over in Bellator, he had some big fights. But he got in there and he just got pieced up very, very badly, and he took some big shots in that one there. And I think that Poirier has legit power to not replicate what Conor did, but can really hurt what Conor did. I think that if he can try and replicate that game plan, and try and just not get taken down and strike him, I think there is openings there for Dustin Poirier. But there could also, Dustin Poirier just gets into scraps. The guy is one of the, for absolute years, this guy that puts on fan-friendly fights, whether it's Korean Zombie, which is one of the best fights out there. There's just so many numerous fights. I mean, it's dangerous, like Coruscant hit him with something, Brandao hit him with something, just comes forward, eat those shots, and put both those guys down. Then against Jim Miller last time out, he took his licks in that one, really bad leg injury. He is coming back fairly quick from UFC 209 as well, so that's something to keep an eye on. I'm just more confident in picking Dustin Poirier in this one. I think Eddie's going to use a similar game plan that he used against Anthony Pettis, to try and control him against the cage, look for takedowns. I don't think Dustin Poirier is going to give him that. I don't think he's going to give him the opportunity to put his back against the fence. And from there, I think it's a scrap. And we know that Alvarez can get into scraps, but I think he's coming off so many big shots in that Conor McGregor fight. I think if the right one hits the button, he will go down and Poirier can stop him. So I'm actually going to go for a finish for Dustin Poirier. It's either going to be a finish on either side, or it's going to be a close decision. I like Dustin Poirier. I'm going to go second round TKO victory there for the Diamond. So that is the prelim portion out of the way. We're moving on to the pay-per-view section here, and it's just complete and utterly stacked. 2 title fights as well. Potential next contenders for titles in the running here as well. Starting off, flyweight division, Henry Cejudo against Sergio Pettis. First thing I'm going to say about this, if you've been watching these videos for numerous years, you know that I harp on that I'm a Pettis fan, a fan of both guys. More Anthony, but I always have been a fan of Sergio. I've seen him coming for a long time. I think since he's come into UFC, you've seen the strides in his game that he's made, the advancements in it, and I've been pretty impressed with him. And I thought in his last fight against John Moraga, he was starting to show that kind of veteran savviness where he's putting it all together, using his strikes, stopping takedowns, just keeping the fight at distance and working that striking where he's for the majority of the time he is going to have an advantage. Excuse me. But he's got a fighter here in Henry Cejudo who's coming off one of the best fights of last year against Joseph Benavidez, where he could have won that fight. I think he probably should have won that fight at the time. I gave it for Benavidez. Watched it on, I think it was Friday night I watched it, and it's hard to pick against Henry Cejudo in that fight. So another thing I will say about this, the line on Sergio, this line is bullshit in my opinion. I don't see how Sergio Pettis, I think he's plus 315 over here in the UK. I don't see where that line is. That should never, it should be a lot lower than that personally. But I am going to pick Henry Cejudo. I really want to pick Sergio Pettis, but I think this is just, I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong with this. I think Cejudo, he needs to realise that he's lost to the two best guys in that division. He needs to put a streak together like Benavidez has to even have a look and getting a shot again, because he did get destroyed against Demetrius Johnson. I just think that the grappling, I think there's going to be opportunities there where Henry can capitalise and get Sergio to the ground. I don't know whether Sergio can work his way back to his feet. I think he probably could, but I think Cejudo, for the most part, is going to get some of these takedowns and make them count. On the feet, I give Sergio the technical and this technical wise and speed wise, I give him the advantage. I think that he's got that there, but I'm finding it hard to pick Sergio Pettis. Try to go with my head instead of my heart. When you think about all the aspects together, I think Henry Cejudo is, there's something there. I think he's going to get takedowns, and I think from there he will win the fight. I think it'll be close. I can see Pettis potentially getting around. I can definitely see him getting around. I don't know why I'm saying potentially. I can see him getting around on Cejudo here. Pick's going to be Henry Cejudo via decision. Really hope Sergio Pettis wins, if I'm being honest with you. And I hope you guys that are betting on Sergio Pettis cash that. But my pick, I think the smart pick is Henry Cejudo here. Featherweight division, great fight. Frankie, the answer Edgar, against Yair El Pantera Rodriguez. I'm seeing a lot of shit regarding this fight, saying that Yair has no right being in there with Frankie Edgar, and this is too soon. And for me, I think it's the perfect time for him, personally. I think he's just... I know the opposition that he's faced isn't telling. BJ Penn, that was just bad matchmaking from the get-go. That was just to get a name on Yair's record, and in a main event slot where they could push him into positions like this here against Frankie Edgar. And yeah, I think that it is potentially a little bit early. I don't agree. I think the time's right to give this guy one of the legit guys in the division, and the legit guys in that division are Frankie Edgar, Jose Aldo, Max Holloway. Plain and simple, they're the three guys in that division, with Cub Swanson and Lamas just outside of that. But I must admit, I like Yair Rodriguez in this one. I'm finding it hard to pick against him. Watching the tape on Frankie Edgar, now we know what Frankie's got. He's got unlimited heart, never gives up. He's always in your face. He's got really elite boxing, I think. Great footwork, great speed, really nice hand speed, picks his shots very well. But I think this is the new breed fighter that can potentially really put a beating on Frankie Edgar. And I could be way off saying that there. I think that Yair, there has been times when he's been putting his back and he's been controlled. Charles Rosa did it. I think Alex Caceres even did it. So yeah, there is opportunity there for Frankie Edgar, like we've seen in the Cub Swanson fight. If he gets him down and he keeps him there, Yair could be in for a really tough night. But I don't think Yair's going to let him do that. I think if he does get put down, I think Yair's going to buck him off. I think he's going to just go for everything, throw wild strikes when he's on the ground, just try and get back to his feet. And I think he can do that. I've been saying this for, I think, about 2 years. Frankie Edgar has been dodging bullets with some. In the Gray Maynard fight, he got put down in both fights. Especially in that middle fight, he was put down a couple of times. I think this is the time where he's going to get caught with something. I think he's not even going to see it coming either. We've seen that with Jeremy Stephens. He caught him with a head kick and put him down there. Never fully caught it on Edgar's head there. But I think that Yair Rodriguez, like he showed in Andre Fili fight, like in other fights as well with Caceres, that he does throw a lot of that exciting fighting style of Taekwondo style there. So I just think I've got a feeling he's just going to catch Frankie Edgar with something massive and put him to sleep. But I could be way off in that. But when I seen the number, I seen Yair Rodriguez at plus 150. I know he was a lot higher than that. I like the number. I think the matchup, we could see Frankie Edgar there coming out and really putting it on Yair. I just don't see it. I think that Yair's striking, I think his speed can match with Frankie Edgar's, and I just think that he's got that unorthodox style where he could throw something and catch Frankie, and that's what I'm going on here. I think he's going to catch him with a big head kick or a big shot that's going to put Frankie down, and I like him in this one here. I've put a bet on Yair Rodriguez, 1.5 units, plus 150. So I'm going for the underdog in this one here. I think the time is right. I think it's the new breed fighter that's coming through. And this is a big fight for Frankie. If he doesn't win this, he's put him in that. Where does he really go from here? Does he go down to 135? He's been around for a long time. The guy's a legend. Really hard to pick against Frankie Edgar because he's so fucking good. But I'm going with Yair Rodriguez. I just think he's the better. I feel he's the better pick in this one. I could be completely wrong there, and I'll probably cop some shit because Frankie is loved. I love Frankie. I've got a feeling for Yair in this one here, and we'll see how it goes. I could be wrong, but I hope I'm right. Yair via TKO, round number 3. I'm going to go. Demian Maia against Jorge Gamebred Masvidal. Ooh, really tough fight for both guys here. I was very surprised when I heard that Demian Maia was taking this fight because Masvidal is not a guy you really want to mess about with too much, especially in his last few fights where he's turned a screw and went out to finish guys. I watched, it was earlier today, I watched Cerrone versus Masvidal, and Masvidal, he got off to a bit of a slow start in that first round, took some leg kicks, body kicks, but then he started leading with that left hand and then following up with a right after, and he was hitting Cerrone every time after that when he started landing that left hand, and he completely broke Donald Cerrone. I didn't see that happening. I picked Cerrone in that one, I think, but I know all the guys that I speak to regular, they were all in Masvidal. The price was off there, and now that he pretty much put Cerrone down in that first round. The fight should have been stopped then. He came out in the second round, Cerrone's head wasn't in it, and Gamebred just kind of ate him up there. But Gamebred is just so underestimated in his skill set. Great boxing, his takedown defense is good, and just an all-around great fighter, a great pro that's been around for a long time. And I just think that it's tough, man. This fight is so tough to pick because I've heard so many people say things about both guys. The way I'm going to go is I'm going to pick Demian Maia here. I find it really tough, like the Yair thing, picking against him here. And when he hit plus money, I jumped on that. I got him, I think it was plus 110. I put a unit, just one unit on the underdog here. The line switched dramatically, where I think Masvidal is plus minus 135 favourite now. So Demian Maia, what can you say about the guy? The guy's legit on the ground. He's just if he gets you down there, you are pretty much, what's the word? Fucked. You're fucked. There's no other word for it. So the guy doesn't absorb strikes. I think he's absorbed like 12 strikes in his last 6 fights, which is absolute incredible. It's absolute when you think about when you think about that number, it's out of this world. But I think that this could be the matchup to potentially stop that, because Masvidal does have great takedown defense, but Maia is just, if he gets the opportunity to get his hands around you, you're not getting out. And he showed that in the Condit fight. Condit threw a couple of strikes and he got away one time, but the second time when Maia got a grip, it was over from there, and Condit had no idea what to do when he got down there with Demian Maia, and Maia, using just a sequence of movements, just completely broke down Carlos Condit there and just ate him up. And that's how I see this fight going here. I think it's very dangerous on the feet. I think Maia wants no piece of Masvidal on the feet there. He has to try and come forward, just to feint some strikes to hopefully put Masvidal against the cage where he can jump in for a takedown. And I think he can get it there. And from there, I think that maybe Masvidal may stop one or two. But I think Maia's going to keep getting them and getting those opportunities to take him down, and doing that and riding out a decision win there. But saying that, this is the fight that kind of reminds me of, and a lot of people have been saying it as well, of Whittaker and Jacare from a few weeks ago. If Masvidal can stop the takedowns, that gets into the head of Maia, and then it's like it's a boxing match, and there's only one clear winner when that happens here. So I'm going with Maia. I think he gets takedowns. I think he can. I think Masvidal's got more than enough to kind of not be subbed by the guy, and he loses a decision. But I can see where people are going another way in this. My pick's going to be Demian Maia via decision. So yeah, and I've got a bet on him there as well. Co-main event of the night, we have Joanna Jedrzejczyk against Jessica Andrade. Interesting to see this matchup there. I'm looking forward to seeing Joanna again. I think she's one of the bigger stars in the UFC, and hopefully she can go forward and push that division further. And she's just in really fun fights, coming off that win over Karolina Kowalkiewicz, where she did get hit in that one. She did get put down very momentarily in that fourth round there. But I do like her in this one here. I know there is some serious people that bet on fights that are on Jessica Andrade here. I just don't see it. I think that Joanna is going to piece her up. I think I'm really looking forward to seeing how she looks after this full camp at American Top Team, and seeing what she's improved on grappling wise, because I think that's what Andrade needs to do. I think she's the bigger hitter as Jessica, coming down from 135 there. She showed that. She's got some big power in that division. But the way I see it is that I just think that Joanna, she's just going to accumulate strikes, and I think this could be one of these fights where she lands a barrage and she puts Andrade down and she could follow up with shots. But there's also, I'm a little bit unsure about Jessica Andrade for the simple fact she's got that power and she could land, and we have seen Joanna being put down, and that's where I'm a little bit iffy on. But love Joanna. I think that a hand speeder pick of strikes, pick of shots I should say, is just really, really, really good. I mean, I love watching her. I think that our fights are really fun to watch, and I'm looking forward to seeing this one here. I just think that I'll maybe a little bit soon for Jessica Andrade, but she's come down there and beat JoJo, Jessica Penny. She dominated Angela Hill last time out, so she probably does deserve the shot here. I find it hard picking against Joanna, but like I did with Maia, like I did with Yair. I might make a bet with her fight week. I'll need to wait and see, but I know I have a two unit parlay already with Cynthia Calvillo, who won at UFC 210, plus 146 I think it is. So I'm going to go Joanna Jedrzejczyk via a unanimous decision, maybe a 49-46. That's how I see this going there. And in the main event, we have Stipe Miocic against Junior Dos Santos in the rematch of, I think it was UFC on Fox 13 back in Phoenix, which was a great fight. Watched that yesterday, and I forgot just how much of a good fight that really was. I think the scorecards were a little bit off. Two judges gave 49-46s for Junior. I think it was a clear stone 48-47 for Junior. I thought he definitely lost rounds 1 and 2, and he won 3, 4 and 5 in my opinion. So great fight. Both guys are warriors. in my first prediction video, I went back and watched it before I did this. I actually picked Junior Dos Santos to win in this one there. For this one, I actually like Stipe Miocic. I like the progression he's made since that fight. I think all around he's the better fighter there. I didn't think he fought a good game plan against Junior the first time around. I think he was diving in for takedowns and leaving himself open and losing a lot of energy and a lot of gas in those attempts to take GDS down. And GDS, once he started really getting off in his striking, he really started pinging Miocic. But Miocic, to say that, he was getting off big shots on Junior Dos Santos. I mean, Junior's face at the end of that fight was a crimson mask. So, but since then, Miocic has just went on leaps and bounds, knocked out Verdum Brazil, got put in his ass a couple of times against Alistair Overeem, but was clearly the better fighter there. Overeem was running away like a bitch, and just like clearly running away. And then once Miocic hurt him, pinned him against the cage and started hitting shots, took him down and just range shots and won that fight there. Dos Santos came back after that. He got knocked out by Alistair Overeem in Orlando, then came back and put on a great performance against Ben Rothwell. I just think that Miocic, since the first fight, has progressed, and I think that Junior Dos Santos has kind of went back a little bit. We haven't seen Junior in over a year now. I'm going to go with Stipe Miocic. I think this time around he's going to do enough in the feet, use that really good boxing that he's got. But once he puts Junior against the cage, I think he will find a way to take him down this time. And from there, I think he can really put a beating on Junior. So, but I could see this being another close fight like the first one around. I just feel more confident picking Stipe Miocic in this one. So, Stipe Miocic for me via a unanimous decision in the rematch there. So that's my picks for UFC 211. Great card, can't wait for it to come round. If you can like, comment, subscribe, that would be brilliant. I'll be back probably 2 weeks for UFC in Sweden, where Alexander Gustafsson face Glover Teixeira. So until then, I see you all very, very soon. Enjoy the fights when they come around. I'm looking forward to them myself. And all the best. Take care.